All right, continuing our discussion on writing function rule this time, there will be another step that will be involved, okay? So we will be writing and evaluating a function rule. So we will put in some values also from the function rule that we will be coming up with, all right? So for example, we have a concert seating plan and that is shown below. So as you can see here, we have reserved seating, $25 each. There are 10 rows and 12 seats per row, okay? General seating, on the other hand, is $10. There are 30 rows and there are 16 seats per row. Okay. Reserved seating is already sold out. The total revenue from ticket sales will depend on the number of general seating tickets that are sold. So we have to write a function rule to represent that situation. And aside from that, if we are looking at maxing out the total possible revenue, how much will that be? Okay. So let's identify first where the total revenue is going to come from. Okay. So the total sales is going to be from the reserved seating plus whatever was the sales on the general seating. Okay, so that is what we know from our understanding of getting the total revenue. It's all the sales of the tickets. Now, as we know, there are different prices on the tickets for these two areas, and so they will give different values here. Okay, so what information do we know of? We already know that the reserved seating is already sold out. So how much is the total amount that is earned from the reserved area? So from the total, okay, our reserved is actually the cost of the ticket, 25, times the number of seats, which is 12, and how many rows all in all? A total of 10 rows, okay? Same scenario with our general seating. So in this case, so the cost of the general seating is $10. Okay, so $10. And then we do not know how many will be purchased in this area. So since we do not know the number of tickets sold yet for the general area, so it's typically going to be N, okay? It's the number of seats. So from here, we know that we have a function rule. So T is going to be equal to 25 times 12 times 10. That is going to give us, 3,000 all in all, plus whatever is the number of general seating tickets that will be sold. So this is our function. Okay, this is our function rule. Now, to answer the next part of the question, if we would like to have the maximum possible total revenue, so if we will have all the general seating to be sold out as well, how much is the total revenue, if ever? Okay, so if we have, what is the total number of seats in the general seating? The general seating has a total of 16 times 30, which is going to be 480. Okay, so if we are looking for the maximum revenue, it's going to be T is equal to 3,000, that's the reserved seating, plus 10 times a total of 480 seats in the general seating, okay? And so this will give us 3,000 plus 480 times 10, that's 4,800. And adding this to it will give us a total revenue of $7,800. Okay, so if both reserved seating and the general seating will be sold out, the maximum revenue for this concert will be 7,800. Okay. All right, so why don't you try this next example on your own? Similar scenario. Make sure you read very carefully how from based from that situation, what will you be using for your operations? And then of course there will be an evaluating part wherein in this particular question, how much does a 10-day stay cost? Okay, so use a function rule, write a general function rule that will be used for for this situation, for this problem, and then afterwards, once you have your function rule, plug in, input a value of 10 so that we can get the cost for 10 days. All right, so try this one on your own. Go ahead. All right, so as you can see here, the kennel charges $15 per day. So from there, we know that we have to multiply $15 for every day that the dog stays. So that's going to be a 15 times n. Okay, and then according here, upon arrival, each dog must have a flea bath, and automatically you have to pay $12 for that. So how much will be the total cost? So you know that you have to add the flea bath, which is 12, and the cost for the stay, which is 15 times the number of days. So from there, you know that you have your equation, sorry, your function to be 12 plus 15n. So now, if you are going to evaluate if you need to know how much will you be spending if the dog will be staying for 10 days. So you can use this function rule. So you will have 12 plus 15 times 10, which is going to be 150, and you add a 12. And so you are looking at spending around $162 for the boarding. Okay.